Hello, everyone. Brady here, Vasoki Entertainment. Charlie is finishing up. I think he has there was a test that caught him off guard. I guess that's what happened with that. But I'm here to talk about some Big Brother. I apologize for not. Make sure this isn't gonna. All right, there we go. I'm here to talk about some Big Brother for tonight. I apologize for not being here the past few times for the last episodes. I admittedly just got behind. It was a case of I was gone all day Saturday. My kids, I had a rehearsal all day, and then I was off watching a competition. I was out till like 11 p.m. on Saturday, and then I missed it on Sunday, and then I was like, all right, I can't miss it today. I didn't watch the episode. Why did she put up Meta? You're going to be angry, Jacob. Oh, Cody and Jess, did they officially become engaged? Hold on. Let me look. I need to Jessica Graff. At the Jessica Graff. I actually didn't know about the engagement. There we go. So, yeah, Cody posted. She said yes on YouTube. So, did they do it on Big Brother? I didn't even look.
So right now.
I'll go watch it. I'll watch the proposal. But anyway, yeah, okay. Cody and Jessica from last season on Big Brother are officially engaged. So, good job. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Diana. Hello, Kat. Hello, is that it? Kat, Diana, Jacob, Melissa. Yeah. Hello to everyone. Yeah, it's on YouTube, so I'll go recheck it. If you guys search Cody Nicholson on, or is it Nixon? Yeah, Cody Nixon. At Cody the Marine on Twitter. You can go there, and he posted the picture. So I want to talk about what happened on today's episode. Can someone please break down what the F Meta said? Meta doesn't know what he's saying half the time. Also, my hair's a mess. That's why my hair's down. Anyway, enough blabbering. Let's talk about the episode, okay? Feel free to put in chat your opinions and stuff, and I'll be reading it. I like being interactive, okay? So, this episode kicked off talking about the nominations, how Omarosa put up Ross and Brady, and Ross was obviously Omarosa's target. And she cut a deal with James and Mark to get Ross out, saying, hey, look, if I put up Ross and he's still on the block, like, I need your word that you guys are both. And this was separate, not together. Okay, so James and Mark are working together, but Omarosa made separate deals with the both of them. She also said that she would like it to be her, Meta, Mark, and James as the final four. So it was in the works of to make that a final four, but it ended up not panning out, and we'll talk about that, okay? So Brady threw her vote. Remember, Brady ended up on the block because she threw away her one vote for Shannon to try to get, she says is because she wanted Shannon to not feel bad because she played hard and blah, blah, blah. We all know it's to try to get the vote at the end. I don't think Brandy's that dumb. Okay, she understood what she was doing, okay? Which cut, it kind of cut a little bit of it cut into the trust of Ross and Marissa and Ariadna that was there for. So we kick off the episode by Brady, and then Brady makes the other mistake of basically admitting that she has a final four with she has a final four with the three that I just listed. So she openly admits it to everyone at the table when Omarosa brings it up. She's like, well, how'd you find out about our final four? And Marissa's like, are you serious right now? So Brady doesn't really think before she speaks. She's it's great for TV, but not necessarily for trying to have her in your alliance. So it was of my impression that Ross and Marissa and Ariadna, basically, if they had to vote out someone, if they had to vote out Brady in order to advance farther in the game, that they would do it. But Ross ended up being the target of everybody, pretty much. So Omarosa, James, Mark, Meta, they were all down. They were all on board with getting Ross out. And even if Marissa and Ari would have tried to save Ross, it wouldn't have worked. So we had this POV twist, and actually I'll go into chat really quick. Super Tan says, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome, David. If Omarosa wanted Ross gone, why not put up Marissa? I think that she just kind of wanted to go for it. But it's a good point. I think a lot of people underestimate Ross and don't think that he's capable of winning these comps. And so putting him up there, even though he's playing in the POV, I also think you got to think there's what 8 people left in the game. Yeah, now down to 7. So you got to think there's 8 people in the game. You've got the head of household, the 2 nominees. That's 3, and then 3 more picked. So chances are Ross was going to play in the POV anyway. And you don't want to run the risk. If you thought Ross was a strong competitor, stronger than Marissa or Ariadna, you would still kind of want to put him up there. Because then it's like, okay, well, if he wins, he can only take himself off. The last thing you would want is put Marissa up there. Ross ends up winning POV, especially when we see what the twist was. Ross ends up winning POV, takes off Marissa, and he's safe. And then, neither one of the top 2 targets is gone as far as Omarosa's target. So unless Mark or James wins, Omarosa and James are going up. We'll talk about that a little bit. Final 4 was obvious. Yeah, exactly, David. It was obvious, but at the same time, I don't know, it's just not kosher to really disclose that to everyone, in my opinion. I don't think you want to openly be like, how'd you know about our Final 4? Like, to everyone. And it's like, okay, well, everyone knew that you were friends, but you didn't have to openly say that you had a Final 4. Ross would have taken her off. Exactly, yeah. Ross is going to win the game. I hope Ross wins the game. Just like Meta said tonight, he's rooting for Ross to win the game. Put Marissa next to Ross. Okay. I think that Omarosa put up Brady next to Ross in order to stir the pot a little bit and hope that putting Ross and Brady against each other would pit them against each other and make it so that Ross would kind of destroy any goodwill that he had with Brady, because Omarosa wanted to get Brady over to her side. It didn't end up working, but yeah. Hashtag Team Ari, says David. Agreed. Charlie's on Team Ari. He loves Ari. We were talking about in the middle of the show. I think he wants Ari to win. I mean, I can't vouch for him that, but he definitely likes Ari a lot. He likes Ari and he likes James. So anyway, moving forward, we found out the winner of America's vote this week, which was voting on one of 3 different types of vetoes that could be played for in the week. We had the Spotlight veto, which out of the 3, I'll list them in order of like most like least impactful to most impactful. So the least impactful was the Spotlight POV, which was whoever wins the POV is required to use it. Which would be interesting because then, if you're someone like Omarosa, you don't want to change your picks. So you kind of wouldn't go for the veto, but you also don't want Ross to win it because then he takes himself off. So it would be really, really tough. Then you have the VIP veto, which was you get the option to veto 2 nominees, and they have to be in succession. So let's say Omarosa were to win. Let's just put it like this. So Omarosa would have the ability to take someone off the block and then put someone on. Oh, let's not do Omarosa. Let's say Ross. Okay. Ross wins the POV. He can take himself off. And then Omarosa is the one that gives a replacement nominee. Ross could then use it again. So he could theoretically be like, no, I don't like your nominee. Give me a third one. Basically Ross was the first nominee and then someone else and then someone else. You could theoretically do that. And then the most impactful one is the one that we've seen in past Big Brothers, which is the Diamond Power Veto, which not only gives you the opportunity to use the Power Veto, you can choose not to use it. But if you choose to use the Power of Veto, you also get to name the replacement nominee, not Omarosa. So that was really huge. This ends up all being for nothing, but we'll talk about it. I'm a little angry about it. So the one that got voted was the VIP veto, which I actually agree with because we've seen the Diamond Power veto before. So people are like, oh, well, this VIP veto sounds pretty cool. And then the spotlight veto is kind of you know, because if one of the nominees wins, then they're going to take themselves off regardless, you know. So the VIP veto ends up winning. The Big Brother production crew accidentally turned this POV competition into gold because of who they were pointing the cameras at during the end of this competition. So it's very interesting because it was a puzzle comp. There were 9 pieces, just a 3x3 puzzle, and you had to stack them up, blocks on top of each other, and it spelt out a puzzle. On one side, it had like a portrait followed by like hottest house guest or something like that. And then on the front side that the house guests could see, it said the VIP veto. They were 2-sided Super 10, yeah. They just had to put the veto side facing towards them. Then the opposite side was facing towards us. And who knows? I think it might have been, what was the backside that was facing the audience? Was that advertisement for CBS? I feel like it was. It was for like a new show or something. I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention. But anyway, it was very close. Mark looked like he was going to win. Going back, the people that got picked for the competition. So Omarosa, Ross, and Brady were automatically in. Marissa, Mark, and Meta were the 3 M's, MMM, were all, that's kind of funny. It's a relation to my fraternity. If you look at Mill's music mission, you can see what I did in my fraternity. That was my job, was to organize those. Those are the 3 that were picked. Mark was very close, like I said, to winning the competition, but then he got confused on part of it. God, my hair's a mess. And ended up moving 1 block from like the bottom middle spot, and it was correct. And he like moved it all the way up to the top, maybe thinking that he accidentally had like the bottom row was supposed to be the middle row or something like that, and then he's supposed to flip it. I don't know. He got jumbled somewhere. And then Ross was very close, but then they took the camera off of Ross and over to Omarosa on the end. They were almost on opposite sides of this competition. Ross was like second one in from the left as far as our perspective. Omarosa was all the way on mirrored. So Omarosa was all the way over here on the right. Ross was like here. Okay, so you couldn't get them both in the same shot side by side. So they're going back and forth, back and forth. Omarosa completes her puzzle, starts running back, and she hits the buzzer. And I'm like, oh my God, really? After all this, Omarosa is the one that wins and it's just going to stay the same. And then all of a sudden, Julie Chen goes, congratulations, Ross, you've won the. And I'm like, what? And you look, and Ross hit the buzzer half a second before Omarosa did. Super, super close. Great competition. Ross ends up winning. Okay, so he has the option to not only veto 1 string of nominations, which would be himself, but another nomination if he wanted to. This is where everything went downhill. So we get inside. I told Charlie, I said, well, this is obviously what's going to happen. Obviously, Marissa and Ariadna were going to be the 2 that would logically be the 2 that she would put up. She wants to break up, that 4 that we talked about earlier for a while. Now, if I was Omarosa, what I would have done, other than what happened, which is stupid, what I would have done is I would have put up Ariadna as the first replacement nominee, forcing, because we all know Ross would take Marissa over Ariadna. This would force Ross to stand up and say that he's not going to save Ariadna. This would, in turn, make it so that if Ross goes to the end, he definitely doesn't have Ari's vote. That's what I would have done if I was Omarosa. And honestly, I don't give a you-know-what about who wants to go home, whatever. You've been gone. Well, they've been gone like 3 weeks because of the whole process of getting there and stuff. But I don't know. You can deal with it. Sorry. So this is what I was alluding to is they get inside and we don't hear anything. And all of a sudden, Omarosa says she's nominating Meta. And then I'm like, what? She's like, because Meta wants to go home. And for the 2nd straight eviction, that's what we get. Someone wants to go home. And he went home by a vote of 5-0. Meta was evicted, sitting next to Brady. It was, I don't know, anticlimactic. I mean, I want Ariadna to be here. But I think Ari was definitely gonna go home. Yeah, Diana said Ross was already down there by the time Omarosa got there. Yeah, same thing, but the way the camera angle was, everyone was fixated on Omarosa, you know? So it was just, yeah. Melissa says, I didn't see my husband for 8 months while we were in the Navy. 3 weeks is nothing. Exactly. So, Super 10 says, it would have been smart for Omarosa to put someone else from the alliance to draw some lines. Agreed. Diana said, another quitter. Yep. David said she's so screwed, talking about Omarosa. I'm assuming, David, you can say yes or no in chat, but I'm assuming you're talking about Omarosa. I think she is screwed. I mean, this was a wasted HOH, and James doesn't trust Omarosa all that much. It's obvious. He wants to work with Mark, but if him and Mark can get in with Ari, Ross, and Marissa, they cut Brady. That's their new 5. You have Omarosa. You have Omarosa, Brady, and who am I missing? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. If you just have those 2 sitting on the outside, you put them up. You know. Jacob says, forget Meta. What's he gonna do? He can't even evict, right? Yeah. I mean, after all of this, I wish Charlie was in here and he'll give his opinion. You guys got to remind me to get his opinions on Meta. God, my hair is awful. I'm gonna turn this here, my Dominican Republic hat. Like we were talking about, finally, Meta's in the game. Meta could win the game. He wanted to go home day 4, and then all of a sudden it looked like he was in the game, and now all of a sudden he's not, you know. James and Mark are going to turn on her. At least it seemed like it. Yeah, I mean, James is playing week by week, which is smart in the position that he's in. You know, James is not willing to. He's willing to make any deal. You know, there's nothing he won't do. So, which is smart. I mean, that's his position. So that being said, the next competition, I'm not sure what the HOH competition is going to be. However, the next episode is Wednesday, which will be the nomination and POV, I believe. And yeah, and then Friday is the double eviction, and we're gonna have to do a couple double evictions here because I think a week from today is the finale, right? I gotta look it up. It's all crazy, man. All of a sudden I look and there was an episode or whatever. It's crazy. So Meta could have got to top 4, to be honest. Agreed, absolutely. James and Mark could work together since they're both kind of on the outs. Yeah, they're going to. They've been working together. It's just. And I mean, as far as James and Mark are concerned, we've got all these pairs, and we've seen this in Big Brother before. We had Omarosa and Meta were kind of a pair. Well, now Meta's gone, and it was during Omarosa's HOH. But then you've got Mark and James as a pair. You've got Ross and Marissa as a pair. You've got Brady and Ariadna, but there's doubts there now. So, yeah. Boyfriend is being annoying. Gotta go, guys. All right. See you later, Diana. Hey, you know, you're with him for a reason. Have a good night, Diana. You'll fix stuff. All right. But yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about? Any questions for me? It's a little shorter of an episode, as all of these are. I mean, there's not much to talk about. It's not like during the summer where we're covering, 4 or 5 days worth of stuff, and we talk about all the stuff that happened. This is just the episode. But what do you guys think about double eviction? To me, I think the fact that Omarosa is so on the outs, and I would say Brady almost as well. Brady has immediately put herself, UCF 2017 national champs. Agreed. I think that Brady or Omarosa, one of those two, is definitely going to be someone that's evicted on double eviction night. We've seen it before where the second part of the double eviction is generally just someone that's an easy person to just get out. So that someone might make a big move the first half and get someone like other than Omarosa out. But then the second half, Omarosa will be the easy target. Hey, let's just get her out now. She's a threat. Prediction for Final Four, Super 10 says. Let me see. Prediction for Final Four. Man, I really like Ross. I think Ross is going to eventually have to cut Marissa, I think it's going to be the couples are going to go to get split up, and Ross is going to have to make a big deal and flip at some point. So I would say Ross and Ariadna might end up being the new pair at some point. So I would say Ross, Ariadna, Mark, and James. I'll say James. I'll say Mark and James get to the Final Four together and ends up being those two against Ross and Ariadna. And then they can kind of duke it out from there. But I'm taking James in any competitions right now. But I think that if that becomes the Final Four, then you could see something play out where everybody knows they're not going to beat James in the end, or they're not going to be able to beat him in the Final 3 comp. So James ends up going home 4th. Ross ends up winning that Final 3, takes, Mark, and Ross ends up winning. That would be my dream scenario. But Omarosa is big in the house. Actually, Brandy's pretty entertaining. She says what she wants. David says, despite the fact that I want to see Ari win, James winning the HOH could stir up the pot and go against the 4-person alliance. Yeah, he could. But if he's also going to be true to his word and he actually wants to work with Ross and Marissa, then we could see something along the lines of Omarosa, Brandy put up. One of them wins HOH, and he puts up Ari as a pawn, and then who knows? Brandy could go home. Ari could go home. Ari needs to do something to improve herself within that, because she had her duo with Brandy, and if she really, I don't think she realized how close Ross and Marissa are as far as separated from her. It's obvious that they're going to take each other over her. So hopefully she cuts a deal somewhere. I think Ari jumping over Ari and Omarosa could be a thing. Super 10 says, what I like about this season compared to last is that the power is shifting from one side to another. So it's not always the same side with the power. Agreed. Last year was just that bully fest of just it. Same group in power. It was like 7 straight weeks that Paul decided who went home last year. It was rough. It got mundane. Jacob says, my Final Four is Ross, Marissa, Ari, James. I could see it. I could definitely see it. If it happens to be those 4 you mentioned, so much for that all-girls alliance. Yeah, that's been dead. We all know what's going to happen. I mean, alliances day 1. Look, people have made ride or dies day 1. Just 2 people and stayed separated from each other yet close. That has worked all the way to the end of the game. In this expedited version, I thought maybe it could work, a big alliance, but it fell apart within literally a day, 2 days maybe. Okay, so I think having a 7-person alliance out of 11 people, everyone knows that they need to be thinking ahead in this game. You have to think weeks and weeks ahead. It's chess, not checkers, You have to be thinking ahead in this game, or else it's not going to work. And they all started thinking ahead day 2, and it came back to bite them. The Final Four alliance that formed in the first episode last season fell apart too. 3 out of the 4 people got out before jury. I mean, everyone quickly is just like, well, we're going to have to break up eventually. Yes, but you can take that 7 to the final 7 and then start cutting deals, but people don't do that. They don't just take the numbers and run with them. Last year they did. This past summer they did. And it ended up being boring. It was a great game by like Paul and other people in that alliance, but it was boring for us to watch. Jacob said, who did you want to win from the start? I picked Ross from the start. I liked Ross. I gotta look. Who did I? Let me open up Excel because I have it saved. Celebrity Big Brother rankings. Actually, I wanted Shannon from the start. Shannon and Ross were my number 1 and 2. I had them listed in order 1 to 11. Shannon, Ross, Mark, Keisha, Ariadna, Chuck, Meta, Marissa, Omarosa, James, Brandy. Those weren't necessarily who I liked the most, but Shannon and Ross definitely were the 2 I liked the most. Charlie had Shannon, James, Ariadna, Meta, Brandy, Mark, Omarosa, Chuck, Keisha, Ross, and Marissa. So he had Ross and Marissa way down. So Interesting. I picked Chuck. Oh, I love Chuck. I wanted Chuck to win. As far as liking people, I probably wanted Chuck to win. But I like Shannon right off the bat. Who do you think has the best DRs? Omarosas are interesting. It's a little too political for my liking. All of the politics stuff, I mean, I know that's why she's on there. And it's not necessarily just in the DRs. It's everywhere. But no. Gets old for me. I think Brandy's not afraid to say stuff. In a world where these are all celebrities and their image is what means the most, I'd say Brandy. I love Brandy's, and then Ross isn't really afraid to say what he wants anyway. Omarosa is usually very solid, but for tonight, I think Brandy's was pretty good. I had Marissa Chuck final two. That'd be interesting. That'd be the dancer and the fighter. It's interesting to see how your opinions change from week 1 compared to week 4. So, yeah, I think, isn't that fun? Like, I hated Brandy. I was like, dude, she's useless. She's the most useless person in the history of Big Brother. I really just did not like Brandy at the beginning. I didn't think she was going to bring anything to the show. I'm not into reality TV at all, except for this. I mean, Big Brother, but I'm not into like the scripted, USA Network always has the Chrisley Knows Best right after Raw. I'm not into those shows at all. I don't watch like The Bachelor. I don't watch those. I like Big Brother. I'm going to watch Survivor. I like The Amazing Race. I like the CBS ones. But that's about it. I don't watch The Challenge. I don't watch any of those. So for me, I was like, a Real Housewives, really? And her thing is her shtick is that her shtick coming in was that she's an alcoholic. That's what she brought to the table. Hi, I'm Brandy. I want to drink all the liquor in the house. It's like, great. But she showed some personality, which I like. I wish they could have extended this season in general. I think it's a little too fast paced. Maybe like another week or two. Yeah, I mean, I told Charlie, I was like, dude, we got a week left. It's crazy. We're going to have a double eviction. I think they're expecting it. Should be fun. But the next episode is Wednesday. I get a day off. Hey, thank God, because I teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Wednesday we've got an episode. Friday we've got an episode. Friday's a double eviction, but Wednesday is the nominations and POV. So that'll be something that you guys could see on Twitter or live feeds or whatever. So Wednesday will be kind of an episode for the people that are in the know and follow it as it happens. It will be more of a same old, but Friday will be the episode to see. So I might be live Wednesday after, might not, but definitely Friday after I will be on. I'll be tired on Friday nights, but they need to make the season fast so everyone can go back to their agents. Yeah, it's true. They're all celebrities. Meta's gone. Good riddance. You don't want to be there. I wrote on Twitter, Ron Artest wouldn't have quit. I'm just kidding. It's good. He's going back to his wife. He's a weird dude. He's good television, but hey, you know what? Keisha's gone. Meta's gone. The two people that were begging to go, they're finally gone. We say it every week, or every episode, not even every week. Every episode, people are finally playing this year, and we're finally rid of people that I think are going to walk out on the game, which is good. So anyway, make sure you guys like and subscribe, share this around, and click the little bell so you know when we go live. And tweet at me, @Vasoki Tweets, just like our name. See you guys.